On the news, federal government secures interim forfeiture of crude oil vessels seized by security operatives. Edun-led panel seeks removal of social investment programs from humanitarian ministry. And business owners lament high interest rates charged by lending firms. Hello and welcome to News Now. I'm Simisola Atiku. The federal government has secured the interim forfeiture of two vessels, MT Harbour Spirit and MT Kali, seized over illegal trafficking of crude oil in the Niger Delta region. Operatives of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited and the Navy had arrested the MT Harbour Spirit on February 4, 2024, while the arrest of MT Kali was ongoing. The cases involving the two vessels are currently being prosecuted by the Office of Kayode Egbetokun, the Inspector General of Police. Meanwhile, the crew members are expected to be arraigned before the judge. The Presidential Panel on Social Investment Programs has recommended the removal of intervention initiatives from the purview of the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. Recall that the programs, which include the Empower Program, Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, and Homegrown School Feeding Program, were put on hold after President Bola Tinubu suspended Betta Edu as the Humanitarian Affairs Minister for alleged financial misconduct. Before then, Halima Shehu was suspended as the Chief Executive Officer of NSIPA over alleged financial malfeasance. Edu had alleged that billions of naira went missing on Shehu's watch. In an interim report submitted on Saturday, the panel recommended that the program should be resumed to alleviate the sufferings of poor and vulnerable Nigerians. However, a new board under the leadership of Wale Edun should oversee the social investment programs. A cross-section of Nigerians and stakeholders has expressed belief that the implementation of the Steve Oronsanya report will enhance governance and boost the nation's economy. In February, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris revealed the federal government had approved the implementation of some of the recommendations in the report to reduce the cost of governance. It is estimated that the Nigerian government could save over 241 billion naira if the report is fully implemented. Speaking exclusively to TV360 Nigeria, the head of Research and Policy Advisory Unit at Budget in Yobang Usain says the funds can be invested into other sectors of the economy. He added that proper monitoring of the implementation of the report must be carried out.
Government runs its business through, the efficient and effective operations of the public service. But what has happened since the 70s till date is that, the scope of the operations of the public service moved from core policy formulation, coordination, and implementation, into active participation in productive sectors of the economy through the establishment of ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Now, when those departments, agencies, and parastatals of government were set up, in the era when they were set up, some of them were set up as ad hoc instruments. So they were set up to achieve a specific purpose, and then they were supposed to be abolished after that purpose had been achieved. But what has happened over the years is that these ad hoc bodies, transmuted into some form of permanent institutions, with overlapping functions across board. And we've seen that successive administrations have created new bodies, created new ministries, departments, agencies of government that have become redundant. As a matter of fact, there are over 200 bills sitting before the National Assembly, bordering on the establishment of new agencies, new parastatals, as the case may be. So that tells you that, that arm of government, together with their collaborators on the executive side, are not relenting on creating, new ministries, departments, and agencies that the government cannot, afford to fund. What has happened over time is that these agencies, especially these ones with duplicating functions, have become a place where politicians, just side projects or place projects, to be able to enable or foster state capture.
The fight against crime and criminality in the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja has received a massive boost following the commissioning of 3 newly acquired gun trucks by the FCT Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and the unveiling of the Special Tactical Squad of the Command. During the event at the FCT Command of the Corps, the NSCDC Commandant General Ahmed Audi charged officers of the agency to be ruthless on criminal element, while he condemned the alarming spate of insecurity which has prompted growing concerns among residents and authorities. Audi warned officers against intimidating or harassing civilians with the gun trucks, adding that the human rights of every Nigerian must be respected. On his part, Commandant of the FCT Command, Olushola Udumosu, who appreciated Audi for his support, says the command was now recalibrated to face crimes and criminality headlong in the FCT, adding that the tactical squad will be strategically positioned within the territory to get rid of criminals.
These gun trucks must not be used for harassment of civilians. These gun trucks must not be used for intimidation. These gun trucks must not be used for molestation. You must respect human rights, fundamental human rights. These gun trucks should only be used for those who actually have deprived good people of Nigeria from sleep. Therefore, I charge you to use this gun truck to do just what I have said and to give us result. And you must do this in tandem with sister agencies.
We are not stopping at this. A special training will soon commence for the retraining of officers and men of intelligence and investigation department. And of course, you know the importance of intelligence in any security operations. Our human capital and the spread that we have amongst the populace is a huge advantage to our sourcing of human intelligence. With credible intelligence report and standby quick response team, I am convinced that those who have chosen to become enemies of the state will not have a hiding place anymore.
The squad being a special squad and trained specifically with that one role's responsibility, it is up to you to prove to your commandant and the commandant general that the selection and training with equipment given to you, it is not an effort in futility. You have to prove that to him. You have to prove that to the commandant and the commandant general. And this is the only way we can support them in this direction.
The National Association of Persons with Fiscal Disabilities, FCT chapter, has called for full domestication and disability laws and accessibility standard code in Nigeria. Chairman of the association, Chris Agbo, made the call at a media conference to commemorate the 2024 International Wheelchair Day. Agbo explained that the International Wheelchair Day was a reminder of the importance of wheelchairs to the millions of individuals who use them worldwide. While emphasizing that wheelchairs constitute a massive difference in persons' ability to function, Agbo said it would be beneficial if there was the modification and retrofitting of all public spaces and facilities to comply with relevant accessibility standard code and universal design. Now, despite the enactment of several statutes for the prohibition of discrimination against PWDs in Nigeria, discrimination against them still persists. Efforts to address these challenges include advocacy for disability rights, increased awareness, and government policies promoting inclusivity. However, substantial progress is critical to ensure that people with disabilities in Nigeria can enjoy equal opportunities and full participation in the society. Earlier, I spoke with Charles Anele, a disability rights activist, to discuss the level of inclusion of PWDs in Nigeria. I began by getting his opinion on the support of disability rights in the country.
Nigeria is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. This is the first legal instrument that the Nigerian government endorsed on people with disabilities. This UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is very broad to the extent it provides not only prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of disability, it went further to promote access to public infrastructure, sections that has to do with access to education, healthcare, integration, women with disabilities, children with disabilities, as well as priorities for people with disabilities in different settings. If you look at the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act, which is a Nigerian government commitment to the implementation of the UN Convention on Persons with Disabilities, the law also, to some extent, also made robust provision for people with disabilities, including the non-discrimination prohibition of all manner of harmful practices on the grounds of disability. The level of negotiation between the disability community and the State House of Assembly, there are also laws that also protect people with disability. So when you look at it holistically, if you're able to implement all, then the issue of discrimination and other harmful practices against people with disabilities will reduce minimally.
With rising rates of poverty and growing concerns about consumer debt challenges, business owners have resorted to applying for exorbitant emergency digital loan apps, loans from various companies to pay for necessities and run their businesses. Unfortunately, some of these individuals get trapped in the web of these exploitative loan apps, which leverage on their desperation to resolve urgent financial challenges. Correspondent Sydney Okafor completes the story.
About 211 digital loan apps were approved by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to operate in Nigeria. Olaposipo Adewale is one of many Nigerian business owners who have turned to emergency digital loan apps to maintain her enterprises and remain afloat. She says desperation and the fact that friends or relatives cannot offer the much needed help made her seek alternative means.
Sometimes the problem that you do not even think of will arrive. That's it. Then you do not have anybody to run to. This thing is just your phone. You just go there. Not that they will. Once you have all the credentials to collect it, that you are not bad debtors. They've not report your credit score. Everything they will give you immediately. So it's very easier to access than going to people that I need this money, I need this money. So that's it.
Olaposipo strongly criticized the approach of recovering loans from debtors on due dates.
There's a loan app that I collected money. So on the due date, they will be calling that your loan is overdue. I said, don't tell me my loan is overdue. Today is the due date. It's when it's tomorrow that I haven't made payment. That's when you can tell me that your loan is overdue. And that call, they will just be disturbing you with call. And they are not even competent enough because once you pay your loan, they will still be calling maybe following day that you haven't paid. Like their record, I don't know. Maybe it's their system, but I don't understand. But the way they used to call me used to piss me off.
She calls on the government to take more drastic measures to regulate the exorbitant interest rates that digital lending app companies charge their clients.
If government are regulating the interest rate, so we people too, it will not be hard for us because many people that are debtors, it's not that they wish the interest rate, everything. It's not easy, I must say. The interest rate is not easy because, like, I can remember that I collected, is it not 1.3 for a period of 9 months. I'm paying back 1.9 plus, over 600,000 on a loan.
Amid these challenges, the number of digital loan apps on the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) watch list increased from 55 in September to 84 as of October 2023 for violating lending ethics and abusing people's privacy rights on methods they deploy to recover loans from debtors. Sydney Okafo, TV 360, Lagos.
The National Hospital Abuja has discharged and handed over to the Nwachukwu family a set of sex triplets, 4 girls and 2 boys, delivered at 30 weeks through cesarean section in the facility on January 30, 2024. The Chief Medical Director of the National Hospital Abuja, Raji Mahmood, while handing the babies over to the parents and other helpers, said that the successful delivery of the babies and their care was a good fit recorded by the hospital. He said that the babies had gone through certain stages of care to ensure that they were healthy, adding that they were given the best chances of survival by the neonatal unit of the hospital. Father of the 6 babies, Ifeanyi Nwachukwu, appreciated the hospital and well-meaning Nigerians for their support.
From the day these children were delivered, the Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development, a wonderful woman that had been doing so well with her NGO before she was appointed a minister, she was up to that. She came. And she said that she is here on behalf of the First Lady, and the news took it. And she made a promise that the children bills and everything, and even 1 year post care for the children will be taken care of by the government. And also, she also made a promise of coming during our day of discharge, which happened to be today, to take us home. Maybe by then means they will be able to see where we are staying. As I'm here now, already I'm tense because I don't know where I'm taking these children to. It was in a suburb area of Airport Road called Lugbe Cross, a 1-bedroom apartment. And immediately the government came in that very day and made that promise. Almost every other angle locked up. I remember one NGO by Madam Salamatu that promised to do amazingly. I called her in between. She told me, Auga, I heard from the news that the government has taken over your bills and everything. Why are you so greedy? Why are you doing that? Brother, honestly, nobody came again because of that commitment. Until today, and even as we are now, we are yet to see anybody from the government.
It's time for a short break. When News Now returns, federal government to query non-performing discos over worsening power supply in the country. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The federal government has secured the interim forfeiture of 2 vessels, MT Harbour Spirit and MT Kali, seized over illegal trafficking of crude oil in the Niger Delta region. Operatives of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited and the Navy arrested the MT Harbour Spirit on February 4th. 2024, while the arrest of MT Kali was ongoing. The cases involving the 2 vessels are currently being prosecuted by the Office of Kayode Egbetokun, the Inspector General of Police, while the crew members are expected to be arraigned before the judge. We also told you that the Presidential Panel on Social Investment Programs has recommended the removal of intervention initiatives from the purview of the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. Recall that the programs, which include the Empower Program, Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, and Homegrown School Feeding Program, were put on hold after President Bola Tinubu suspended Betta Edu as the Humanitarian Affairs Minister for alleged financial misconduct. In an interim report submitted on Saturday, the panel recommended that the program should be resumed to alleviate the sufferings of poor and vulnerable Nigerians. However, a new board should oversee the social investment programs. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Economists and policy analysts have expressed concern about the recent actions taken by the Central Bank of Nigeria concerning the benchmark interest rate and other monetary policy matters in the country. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, increased the benchmark interest rate to 22.75% on Tuesday as part of the move to aggressively manage the country's inflationary pressures. Olayemi Cardoso, the governor of the CBN, disclosed that the MPC voted to keep the cash reserve ratio, CRR, at 45%, while the liquidity ratio was retained at 30%. Reacting to the CBN's moves, the Chief Executive Officer at the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, says the increase will have adverse effects on other sectors of the economy.
In economic management, we need to have a broad view about the trade-offs, about the implications for other sectors of the economy. Because there's what we call a general equilibrium approach to economic management. And what that means is that when you are embarking on a particular policy choice or particular policy journey, you need to look at the implications beyond your narrow objective. You look at the implications for other sectors of the economy. If you look at the key drivers of inflation, not much of it is coming from this liquidity directly in the banking system. Because, if you look at what the foreign exchange issue, for instance, which has a major impact on inflation, there are quite a number of variables driving it, some of which very, very fundamental, like the challenges of supply, like the challenges of liquidity from the public sector.
Still on business, the federal government has accused some electricity distribution companies, Discos, of deliberately refusing to take up power supply from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, thereby contributing to the current power crisis. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, through his special advisor on strategic communications and media relations, expressed concerns over the poor state of power supply in the country. Due to the poor condition of electricity supply in their respective regions, Adelabu called a meeting of the CEOs of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company and the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company. The managing director of the TCN, Sule Ahmed, has also been called up due to the worsening power crisis. The minister added that the non-performance of Discos could be queried for and their license revoked as reports continued to filter in on the situation in their regions. On the foreign scene, the 6th UN Environment Assembly has advanced the work of member states on management of metals, mineral resources, chemicals, and waste, on environmental assistance and recovery in areas impacted by armed conflict, on integrated water resource management in the domestic sector, agriculture, and industry. More than 5,600 people representing 190 countries participated in the week-long assembly held at the UN Environment Programme headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, focusing on effective, inclusive and sustainable multilateral actions to tackle climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution. A ministerial declaration on the closing day affirmed member states' commitment to slow climate change, restore and protect biodiversity, create a pollution-free world and confront issues of desertification, land and soil degradation, drought and deforestation by taking effective, inclusive and sustainable multilateral actions. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has expressed his condolence on the death of Nollywood star Tolani Quadri, popularly known as Sisi Quadri, describing the deceased as a great talent. Quadri died on Friday at the General Hospital in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, where he was receiving treatment for an undisclosed illness. The late actor was 45 years and his death has thrown the industry into mourning. The governor, in a statement by his media aide, described the actor's death as shocking and devastating. Commiserating with the actor's immediate family, the people of Iwo Land and the movie industry as a whole, Governor Adeleke urged them to take consolation in life of impact, particularly in the acting profession. In a recent episode of the Prime Video original reality show Ebuka Turns Up Africa, Nollywood actors Zubi Michael and Timini Ebuson were engaged in a heated debate over who holds the title of biggest actor in Africa. Timini boldly claimed the title for himself, boasting about his accomplishments and fame, which immediately sparked a reaction from Michael. The actor confidently asserted his own claim to the title, citing his numerous awards and achievements. The clash between the two actors continued, with Timini challenging Michael's knowledge of him and his work. The tension between them was palpable, showcasing the competitive nature of the entertainment industry and drive for recognition and success. And that's all on the entertainment segment of News Now. Oge Chukwuke with CV360 Lagos.
And finally on sports, the 14th Police Games tagged Oluyole 2024, competing for peace, unity, stability and development of Nigeria, has ended on Saturday, with Force Headquarters Abuja leading the medals table with 93 medals. According to the organizers, the FHQ is leading with a total of 43 gold, 21 silver and 29 bronze, while Zone 2 is in second place with 39 gold, 20 silver and 33 bronze. Zone 11 sits in third place with 23 gold, 25 silver and 28 bronze, with Zone 9 amassing 12 gold, 13 silver and 12 bronze to occupy fourth place. Over 4,000 athletes from the 17 zonal commands have been vying for honors at the biennial games for the past 6 years. Speaking at the end of the games, the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, said the tournament aims to produce new talents for the Nigeria Police Force and the country at large. Well, that's the end of our bulletin. Thank you for watching.